Hello everyone and welcome to the Sky channel. Now I just got the Weaver Ant and I already had an 8-star Nimble Tree Ant, and there was the age-old question, which one is better? Is the Weaver Ant really better than the Nimble Tree Ant even at 0-star compared to an 8-star Nimble Tree Ant? So I decided to put it to the test. And what I did was I went in the mines, I went into the revenge section, and I decided to attack the people in there, first using the 8-star Nimble Tree Ant, and then using the 0-star Weaver Ant. Now the unit I used was a 2-star DB in the first row, an 8-star Nimble Tree Ant or a 0-star Weaver in the second row, and then a Wise Berserker at 0-star in the third row. I did this a bunch of times and we are going to check out the results, and then we'll try to decide if Weaver Ant is really better than the Nimble Tree Ant, even while it is much lower star than the Nimble Tree Ant. So let's get right to the reports. Alrighty. So here, first of all, you can see that I'm attacking with the Nimble Tree Ant, which is at 8-star, like I mentioned before. And we are attacking this player, and I managed to get only 1.62 million damage done to them. Of course, Nimble Tree Ant was actually a very high performer here, and so was Wise Berserker, because you can see that they used a lot of skills. Next, we're going to do the same attack, but with the 0-star Weaver. And of course, you can see that again, Wise Berserker really did an amazing performance, and the total damage done actually came up to be 1.8 million, which was higher than the previous one at 1.6 million. So far, so good. Next, we do the same thing here. You can see that 1.15 million damage done with Nimble Tree Ant, and here 2.17 million damage done by the Weaver Ant. And if you go into the report, you can see that again, the Wise Berserker is really shining high when it's being used with the Weaver, but not as well when it's being used with Nimble Tree Ant. So far, it seems that Weaver is actually doing amazing compared to the Nimble Tree Ant. Next up here, we only did about 1 million damage to this player using the Nimble Tree Ant. That being said, Nimble Tree Ant really didn't perform, and neither did Wise Berserker, so we can say that it could be a fluke. Now when we attacked it with the Weaver, we almost won with a 2.4 million damage. And if you look at the report again, you can see that the Wise Berserker is doing a phenomenal amount of damage when it's being used with the Weaver, which is outstanding. Next, we attacked this player with the Nimble Tree Ant. We did a pretty nice amount of damage and we almost won with a 1.9 million damage, and we still had some units surviving. Now, if you do check it out, the Nimble Tree Ant did release the skills a ton of times, and then the Wise Berserker released it a ton of times as well. So you can see how this could be considered a fluke, but if you look at it, it's actually 8 rounds long, and that is because the enemy was a Guardian, which means that they are good at living longer. And as you can imagine, longer battles are generally in the favor of Nimble Tree Ant because Weaver is all about the first 3 rounds. So in this case, if you go to the Weaver report, you can see that the Weaver actually could not perform better than the Nimble Tree Ant, again because of the 8 rounds thing. Now Weaver did everything it could in the first 3 rounds, and then its skills pretty much stopped taking effect. So that means that in a case like this, Nimble Tree Ant may do better than the Weaver. Next, we fought a carrier and we did 2.1 million damage. Now again, it was an 8 round long thing, so you can see that Nimble released a lot of skills and hence they did particularly well. Then we attacked the same person with Weaver and we actually weren't able to do that well. Again, I repeat, this was an 8 round battle as well, so Weaver did everything it could in the first 3 rounds, but the next 5 rounds it was probably just sitting around not doing much. So as you can imagine, 8 round battles are not Weaver's specialty. Then we go to this player, and using the Nimble Tree Ant again, we did about 1.77 million damage, which is pretty nice. And then when we attacked him with Weaver, we actually did 2.17 million. And here you can see it's a pretty balanced report with everyone doing a lot of damage. But of course, our troop damage with Weaver was amazing as well. Then we attacked this player who was actually using a very similar unit than ours. And here you could see that the Nimble actually did perform pretty well. We were able to do about 1.8 million damage. And then we attacked the same person with Weaver, and well, we didn't do as well as we did with Nimble Tree Ant. That being said, Weaver actually didn't release as much as it should have, and Wise Berserker pretty much didn't release altogether. So we could consider this one a fluke, and that being said, we also died pretty fast. So remember, in most of these battles we are attacking up because these are players that already kicked me out of the mine. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we did about 1 million damage when using Nimble Tree Ant. It didn't release that much, and neither did Wise Berserker. Then when we attacked with Weaver, we actually got 1.8 million, even though Weaver didn't release as much as it should have, but Wise Berserker did okay. Next up, we attacked this player. We did 1.6 million. There were 6 rounds in this, so you can see that Wise Berserker did release a bunch of times. Nimble did decent as well. And then when we used Weaver, there were again 6 rounds in total. We did somewhat similar, but we did a little better with the Weaver than we did with Nimble Tree Ant. That being said, as you can imagine, most of what Weaver did was probably in the first 3 rounds. Next, we attacked this player who was actually using the DB Weaver and Wise Berserker unit. We did 1.5 million damage. It was a fairly balanced report. Then when we attacked them with Weaver, we actually won, surprisingly, which was amazing. And as you can see, a lot of it is coming from troop damage as well as Wise Berserker's skill releases, because Weaver did particularly well. And then we attacked this player. We came very close to winning. It was a carrier. There were 8 rounds in this one. And Wise Berserker released 14 times as well, which is amazing, which is why we came very close to winning. But then when we attacked them with Weaver, we actually won. And Weaver released a ton of times. And you can see a lot of our damage is coming with Wise Berserker. Then we attacked this player, coming up to be 1.3 million, not a lot of releases. And then when we attacked with Weaver, we're talking 1.7 million damage. And here, barely any damage, 695,000. But when we used our Weaver, we actually managed to do 1.4 million. Okay, so I think these reports are good enough to give us a very solid perspective. If your unit is anything similar to mine, where you have a DB and a Wise Berserker, a 0-star Weaver will actually outperform an 8-star Nimble Tree Ant in most of the cases. The only exception seems to be a battle that is bound to go on for 8 rounds, because Weaver is all about doing a lot of damage in the beginning of the battle, but after 3 rounds its usefulness decreases a lot. That being said, a lot of your battles are likely going to end in much less than 8 rounds, which means that most of the time the Weaver will really be outperforming the Nimble Tree Ant, especially if the star difference is anything less than mine, which is pretty much the maximum difference in stars. So if you've been in that dilemma and you just got a Weaver like I did, and you've already invested a lot in your Nimble Tree Ant, it's probably a good idea for you to switch and perhaps do a star swap with your Nimble Tree Ant to another ant. In my case, I actually star swapped it with gold armor. So if you're interested in watching that video where I talk about how much my groundhog damage increased once I made the gold armor from 2-star Purple Awakening to 8-star Gold Awakening, do check out our other video that was recently released. And since I still have you here, I do want you to know that you can get between 10 to 35% bonus on in-game purchases anytime you purchase anything in the Ants Underground Kingdom. The steps are super simple. I'm gonna link a video in the description below on how you can avail that bonus. If you want to have a longer conversation with me before taking advantage of that offer, hit me up on Discord. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like, please subscribe to our channel, and check out some of our other videos that we have on the ants. And let me know in the comments below if you have a Nimble Tree Ant and a Weaver and you're considering making that switch, or if you already made that switch and how that went for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.